Welcome in, everybody. We have a couple of guests joining us today. We have our comedian Sam Miller that we see on occasion up here at Skagit Speedway. And Sam has a big comedy show coming up in Mount Vernon, just 10, 15 minutes from the racetrack that we'll talk about. And then on our other screen, we've got JJ Hickle, a driver that spent a lot of time racing at Skagit through the years and now races at the sprint car capital of the world, Knoxville Raceway. And these two have a unique connection. Sam partners with JJ's sprint car team, and the big comedy show coming up in Mount Vernon next Friday, Sam, is going to support that partnership.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm working along in conjunction with Skagit now, which is awesome to have your guys' support, and Cozy Comedy, which is a comedy production company who is actually very generous of them to also donate a lot of their proceeds to the JJ Hickle team, which is great for them because they're not really sprint car fans. So I was very surprised when they did it. But yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Yeah, and I started going out to Grays Harbor Raceway about 12 years ago, and then I started doing comedy, which kind of ruined it because I pretty much work every Friday and Saturday night. I make 80% of my money on Friday and Saturday night, so usually I just look at JJ's social media the next day and figure out how he's doing.
JJ, what's the adjustment been like for you? You raced out here, Grace Harbor and Skagit quite a bit, and now out in the Midwest in the frozen tundra here this week, and you're racing at the sprint car capital of the world every Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely been a pretty big adjustment as far as the climate and the culture. Out at home, everybody kind of just wasn't really a sprint car culture living out on the Olympic Peninsula, I would say. And now you walk into the Knoxville and you see the paintings on, or you walk into the Walmart at Knoxville and you see the sprint cars on the wall when you get in there, and you just kind of feels like a home away from home for me. It feels like where I should be, and it's been great getting to be out here and kind of get my roots in Knoxville now. And I've started my own team out here, just based right out of Knoxville, and then I'm fortunate enough to drive for Matt Morrow in the 410 division. And yeah, it's the most excited I've been going into a season probably ever in my career here, getting ready for 2026.
A great partnership with Matt Morrow, who's a multi-time Knoxville Raceway track champion. And the Morrow name is synonymous with sprint car racing around central Iowa. His dad, Tony, raced a lot at Knoxville, and now you've had a lot of success in that car. Won a track championship a couple years ago as well with Davey Heskin, who is a former track champion out there, so that 2M can go. And Sam, how did the connection with JJ come about for you to get involved with a sprint car team?
It's the strangest thing, man. I think it was like 12 years ago or something. It was a race. It was out of Grays Harbor, and JJ had some kind of mechanical thing happen. I don't know if it was a flat or something, and I had to move to the back. And I watched him win that race. There was only a couple yellow flags too, man. It just seemed like it almost seemed like he was in a different car than everybody. But I didn't know a lot about. I'm still relatively new to the sprint car world. I still have a lot to learn, but I knew that day I was like, man, that guy's pretty cool. And then I was like, I want to be his friend, but I don't want to make it weird, you know. Uh, and then I got famous enough with comedy where I was like, you know what? I bet I can make this work. And then I don't know. We started talking, and a lot of the pressures that JJ deals as a sprint car driver are very, very similar to the pressures I deal with as a working comedian. And I think it's been mutually beneficial for both of us outside of just the sponsorship. Just we kind of support each other in different ways. It's pretty dope.
JJ, how cool has it been for you to partner with Sam, especially in the Midwest? I mean, I feel like out here in Washington, Sam, very well known to, but is his explosion, especially on social media, that we've seen his really grow nationwide, and you get to kind of bring that to a whole new group of race fans in the Midwest. How neat has that been?
Oh, it's been incredibly awesome. Like, I've always been a big time comedy fan, and then when he came up and talked to me, we kind of became friends. I would say in 2021, I was on the ASCS tour and made a trip through Grays Harbor and Skagit there that year, and we started talking then, and we kind of started just chatting on the phone and became buddies. And it's crazy how much stuff is similar, and kind of what he's saying. It's been beneficial. It's like a lot of times going up and down the road, we're sort of each other's like psychiatrist type of deal, because there's struggles, and a lot more races you don't win, and comedy shows you don't sell out probably in the beginning than times that it's really good. So it's been really awesome just having somebody who's kind of chasing their dream and like leaving everything at home, you know, and going on these trips and stuff to be able to relate with somebody who's doing something completely different. But, you know, that he really likes what I do and I really like what he does. And so it's been a really awesome pairing, honestly.
Sam, how neat has it been for you? You look where you were grinding, just grinding Fridays and Saturdays to now your Fridays and Saturdays you're performing in front of packed houses. You've got almost 200,000 Facebook fans to watch your growth. How humbling has that been to see if you could look back 10 years ago to see where you are now?
That's a really great question, but it's actually kind of surprisingly hard to answer because it's hard for me to like remember all those different stages, because it's been, I've been doing stand up. I've been doing 3 or 4 shows a week for like 11 years. And it's been this gradual growth both on stage and off. And then there are these moments I like the first viral video was probably 4 or 5 years ago that it was a very classy joke about me pretending to be a semi truck making love to my wife that people really enjoyed. And I enjoyed it too. I thought it was great. And I don't know. It's a trip. I can't really explain it. The biggest, I'll say this, that the biggest thing for me right now is, because I do really well in some markets, but I still like JJ's talking about, man, I still have nights that are rough. And a lot of this is also very similar to racing, is that I do door splits. And so a lot of times if I don't sell tickets, like not only is it a little bit harder to perform with a smaller crowd, even though I've gotten better at that, it's also like I lose money sometimes, And I know in the sprint car world, y'all know a lot about losing money, man.
we we know that well. JJ, for you, I mean, I feel like you've kind of been the same career path trajectory. You've grinded it out, and now you're really starting to find some ground. You've got a full-time ride that you mentioned in the Midwest with Matt Morrow, and I watched you go from grinding here at Skagit to ASCS to running with the All-Stars, Knoxville Nationals, A main starter. Is that a little bit surreal when you think about it, that, man, this kid from Quilcene, Washington, now running full-time at the sprint car capital of the world and is an A main starter at the biggest sprint car race in the world?
Man, it's incredibly surreal. Like I tell people all the time, I drive my little $5,000 car down into the pits at Knoxville, and I get out with my lunch pail and my gear bag, and then I'm driving the Alba car in front of the Alba Suites. It's just I feel like I'm just I've slipped through the cracks. I'm extremely proud and I've worked extremely hard, but man, you wouldn't be here if you just didn't get some lucky breaks or get into the right situations and just try to make the most of every situation. But yeah, it's extremely surreal, and I definitely take none of it for granted. I'm extremely grateful to be doing what I'm doing every single night and to be building my deal up and to have a guy like Matt Morrow that I can drive for that is trying to encourage me to build my own team, and to have a guy like Blake Cook on board who also moved from Washington and kind of just ended up at Knoxville, and so did I, and now we've basically joined forces. He's my crew chief on all my personal stuff. It's just all the stars are finally starting to align, it feels like. And for 10 or 15 years of grinding, it just felt like I was going to race every Saturday night and work 40 or 50 hours a week to pay for it. And to be honest, it was kind of a bummer, but I just love racing so much that I was still going to keep doing it and just keep trying to be as good as I can and hoping to get an opportunity like this. So like I said, I'm extremely grateful, and none of it is unappreciated at all. It's a very surreal deal to be here, but it also just makes me kind of more motivated to really make the most of it. Like I've finally gotten to where I want, but it feels like this is just like the beginning of the chapter where I can make the book really good.
I feel like the both of you, Sam and JJ, you both have followed kind of this same trajectory, and it's kind of cool that your worlds have collided in bringing each other's careers together, which is so neat. And it's cool that you have those ties back to Washington because you both get to travel. I mean, you look at Sam, you're the next 2 months you're going down to Texas and performing, you're going out to Ohio and performing in a lot of shows here in the state of Washington. That's got to be pretty neat that you think, man, this guy from Olympia, Washington, now you're performing in Austin, Texas and Columbus, Ohio, 2 places that you wouldn't really tie together, and that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny when you talk about the travel, because I don't remember what JJ won some race this year, and I don't remember what team he was driving for or what was going on, but I just remember that I was in like New York or something, and or like Chicago. And it's funny because he'll call me up on Sunday or something like that, or I'll call him. And I remember one time he called me. He was at some party. He was at some bonfire, and he called me, and I'm on the Bluetooth with this other like fairly well known comedian, this kind of famous old guy, and I pick up the phone. He's like, he's like, "Hey Sam, where are you at?" I don't know. That's a bad JJ impression, but I was like, I'm in San Francisco, man. He's like, that's awesome. He's like, and he started talking about his race and stuff, and I'm just like, hell yeah, hell yeah. And the other comedians sitting next to me, and I was like, all right, JJ, I gotta go. I got my friend in the car, or whatever. And then I hang up, and the other comedian is like, he's like, who the hell was that? And I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I sponsor this sprint car, my friend JJ. And he's like, what the hell's a sprint car? And then I got to explain to him what a sprint car was.
Yeah, now you get to you're growing the sport for us, not even unintentionally. So we appreciate that.
Yeah. Well,
Fun fact, Blake.
Oh, go ahead.
Fun fact: Sam has heard you call a race at Wayne County Speedway on Speed Week in like 2000, probably 23. I think it would have been whenever. Yep. Sam showed up to that race. Just he was on tour that week, and it worked out to where he could come visit on Speed Week. And there's like a picture of him just dwarfing me in the pits.
Yeah, I remember that race. Everybody's car broke that race. Yeah, I was like, yeah, it was pretty tore up.
Wayne County, that place is on the edge. Best cheeseburgers in racing that I've had. I'll say that.
There we
go. Now, Sam, next Friday you're performing in Mount Vernon, just about 15 minutes from the racetrack. What can fans expect? I mean, we're hoping to have a full house that night. Tickets are still available. You can get them online. But what can they expect, and where can our race fans go buy those tickets?
You can, if you just go to sammillercomedy.com, or you can go to the lincolntheater.org. They'll have those tickets there. What fans can expect, man. I take comedy seriously, I know it's kind of a weird thing to say when I'm telling weird jokes about how much I love big women, but I put on a great show. I'm really proud of the product that I've been putting out. JJ kind of knows what I'm talking about. This is another similarity with sprint car driving, is that the fun part is telling jokes in front of crowds. Like, that's the fun part. It's similar to sprint car racing. Like, the really fun part is the racing. But most of my job is social media and video editing and travel planning and booking shows and making connections. And so when I'm up on that stage, similar to when JJ's out on the track, man, that's my time to shine. And I love, because people only have so much money to spend on entertainment in any given time frame. And if they're going to spend their money and come out to a Sam Miller show, I'm going to make sure that I try to take the roof off the place. And this one is especially rad because a significant portion of this money is going to JJ, and that's going to be really nice for me, because last year when I did the sponsorship, and I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm giving JJ some money. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sponsoring a sprint car this year. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I can't explain it. I just need to do it, And then, but she didn't leave me, so that's good.
Yeah, that's good. I'm excited. I'm excited for next Friday night to see you, Sam, and it's kind of twofold. We get to support a guy that's a big supporter of racing and really popular here, in the Pacific Northwest and growing, and its partnership with Skagit Speedway, and it supports a guy that is really tied to Skagit Speedway in the Pacific Northwest and racing about 20 minutes from where I grew up at a track that's really special to me at Knoxville Raceway. So I'm excited for that, and hopefully we can get JJ back in the A-Main at the Knoxville Nationals and a big season here coming for you, JJ.
Man, I really appreciate it, and I'm very grateful to Sam for doing this, and to the comedy club for doing it, and as well as Skagit Speedway and all you guys for supporting this. I know I haven't been back to race, honestly, under the new regime or anything, so for you guys to get on board and support this, it really means a lot, and I appreciate it, and we'll continue to try to make you proud from afar, and I'll definitely be back to Skagit at some point before I'm done. That's for sure.
Yeah, we hope that you can make it back, because I know a lot of people ask me about you, JJ, knowing that you were in it at Knoxville, back where I'm from, and hoping that you can get back here. So hopefully we can have you back, and hopefully, Sam, we've got a packed house. We'll get the link out on our social media several more times, and definitely when we get this posted, and hopefully we can have a sold-out house at Lincoln Theater next Friday night on January 30th.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Just wanted to be quick and talk about next Friday and the partnership that you guys have. We appreciate you guys taking a little bit of time out of your morning, Sam, JJ, your early afternoon out in the Midwest. And we look forward to seeing everyone next Friday night at Lincoln Theater on January 30th. SamMillerComedy.com. Buy those tickets now.